Hello friends, I am Nisha Sharma, Associate Professor, Department of English. The topic under discussion today is Rabindranath Tagore's poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear. Today we'll make a study of the text of the poem. So let's begin. Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore is one of his vastly read and discussed poems. It was originally composed in Bengali possibly in 1900 under the title Prarthana, meaning prayer. It appeared in the volume called Naivedya in 1901. Later in 1911, Tagore himself translated the Bengali poem into English, and that translation appeared as poem 35 in his novel-winning anthology Geetanjali, Song Offerings, published by the Indian Society, London in 1912. So, when the poem was written, India was under the British rule and people were eagerly waiting to get their freedom from the British rule. The poem is written in the form of a prayer to the God, the Almighty, for a true freedom for his country. And thus, Tagore reveals his own concept of freedom throughout the poem, where the mind is without fear. So, now to the text. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. In the very first line, the poet prays to the Almighty that his countrymen should be free from any fear of oppression or forced compulsion. He wishes that everyone in his country has his head held high in dignity. In other words, according to him, in a truly free country, every person should be fearless and should have a sense of self dignity. A person who is truly independent should be allowed to think freely without any kind of fear. The lives of people with dignity and without fear brings a healthy life. People should live a life which has no fear. Fearful experience of life yields no meaning in life. It gives the people a taste of death before the ultimate demise of the world. Actually, just as I've told you, India was under the British rule, and under the British rule, the biggest fear in the mind was the fear of Britishers. So, the poet wants to remove this impulse of fear from Indians. He knew that people had many types of fear in their minds: fear of money, fear of power, fear of oppressors. So, when there is fear in mind, you can't be free, according to Tagore. And look at the use of alliteration in the words head, held, high. H sound is being repeated again and again. Now, where's line 2, where knowledge is free. In the second line of the poet dreams of a nation where knowledge would be free. Education should not be restricted to the upper class only. Everybody should be allowed to acquire knowledge. Not only that the children should learn freely from the nature and the world around them, they should not be forced to memorize some predetermined lessons. And this is Tagore's typical concept of education. The poet suggests a very important aspect of freedom. He wishes for such a nation where people would have access to free education. The line might suggest so. Adding to it, Tagore seems to suggest, as the popular meaning goes well, imparting of free knowledge, irrespective of caste, culture, and creed, shall serve the real purpose of education. Thus, spreading it to the last person of the society would be like shaping and making the bricks for the entire development of the nation. Nevertheless, the line might also suggest that knowledge should not be corrupted with prejudice or preoccupations of any kind. Many Marxist historians in India doubt everything before actually looking into them. Tagore warns against such knowledge. Now, line 3 and 4, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. In the next two lines, the poet emphasizes the unity of not only of his countrymen, but also of the entire world. He thinks there should be no division among people based on their caste, creed, color, religion, or other baseless superstitions. In other words, prejudices and superstition should not divide the people in groups and break their unity. The poet prays to God for such a nation which remains undivided, where there is no possibility in the present as well as in future of partition within the country. The poet seemingly suggests against any kind of division by domestic walls, caste, creed, religion, beliefs, political alignments. Domestic walls of any kind are only narrow-minded. Where words come out from the depth of truth. The poet's words suggest the vision for a country where people only speak the truth in any condition. Tagore wants a nation where people are truthful, they should not be superficial, and words should come out from the depth of their feeling, from their hearts. At one place, Mahatma Gandhi has also suggested that fear is the greatest, or we can say, the forbidding emotion in our mind. And to prevent freedom, we should adopt truthfulness because truth and fear are opposite to each other. When you speak the truth, then you have no fear of the consequences. Their tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. In the sixth line of the poem, the poet wants everyone to work hard to reach their goal and in the long run to reach perfection. He thinks they should not be tired by working. People should not be lazy and ignoring their work. Rabindranath Tagore hints that Parmeshwar inspires a nation where people should move forward steadily for the combined effort with firm determinations to avoid any kind of ailment and impurity in their behaviors and manners. The continent should strive for betterment in all aspects of the human world, a march towards perfection which is decorated with tireless efforts and hard work. This is what the poet suggests. In this line, we can see the use of alliteration and T sound, tireless, driving, stretches, towards, it's repeated. Now, line 7 and 8. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its ways into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Look at the use of alliteration. Dreary desert sand of dead. In line 7, the poet compares reason or logical thinking to a clear stream, and in the next line, he compares dead habits or superstitious belief to a dreary desert. The use of metaphor. He wants the stream of reason not to lose its way into the desert of prejudices. In short, people's thoughts should be monitored by rational thinking, not by superstition. Logic should rule over old business beliefs. Now, the concluding lines, line number 9 to 12. Where the mind is led forward by these God into ever widening thought and action, Into that heaven of freedom, my father let my country away. In line 9 and 10, the poet wishes his countrymen to be progressive and broad minded. He wants that their minds are led forward to ever widening thought and action by the Almighty. In short, we should be open minded and do something unusual or extraordinary, overcoming the narrowness of mind. The poet requests to Ishwar, his Bhagwan, his guide, that only Parampita can lead such a nation to success. People would be moving forward with actions guided by crystal clear thoughts, which often yield positive results. Thus, the poet sums up the prayer with final words that he wishes our country, India, should awake and taste the heaven that freedom can bring to us under the guidance of our Parampita Parmeshwar, Indian idea of the divine. In the final line of the poet addresses the God as his father. He asks him to awaken his country into such a heaven of freedom where the above conditions meet. To make it clear, the poet prays to the Almighty to raise or lift his country to such heights where freedom could be realized at its best, a heaven of freedom. In turn, he is actually praying that God awaken his countrymen so that they come out from the darkness of ignorance, prejudice, disunity, and all other evils. Rabindranath wants to awaken the God within us to free our mind from shackles and bondages. It is not invoking God, but using it as a metaphor for the higher self within us. Thank you.